Well, let's speak to Yezid Sayigh about all this. He's a senior fellow at the Carnegie Middle East Center and a former advisor to Palestinians in peace talks with Israel. He's joining us from New Jersey. Thank you so much, Mr. Sayigh, for being with us on AlJazeera. I'll ask you about the plan in a minute and, you know, some of the points mentioned in it and whether you see them working. But I wanted to ask you first about what the U.S. Secretary of State has been saying, Marco Rubio, saying that he's hopeful a deal is imminent. In your view, is this optimism grounded in reality, or is Washington overstating the progress?
I think optimism is warranted. The real problem isn't going to be in getting the two sides to accept the agreement. The problem is going to be maintaining the agreement, maintaining implementation past the first crucial phase in which Israeli forces are meant to withdraw immediately upon acceptance or upon confirmation of the agreement to the agreed midway line in Gaza, 72 hours after which Hamas releases all remaining hostages in its hands and then moves to disarming. And one of the crucial issues right there immediately is whether the international stabilization force that is also meant to deploy immediately will be on the ground by the time that Hamas releases prisoners, hostages, and starts laying down weapons. Because without that, it's going to be utterly defenseless. Right. And the risk of Netanyahu once again sabotaging the deal becomes, really huge.
And let me pick up on 2 points you made, the stabilization force, but first that security buffer zone that the Israelis insist on maintaining inside Gaza even after the final withdrawal. How is that going to be viewed by Palestinians? That is likely to become a major sticking point, is it not?
I think it's a sticking point and a major one for Palestinians, but not only, also for Egypt, for sure. We've already heard the Egyptian foreign minister express discomfort with various governance and security provisions in the plan. And it's clear that, and he regards these as loopholes. And one of them, I'm pretty sure, from what we know of the Egyptian position, is continued Israeli control over the border corridor on the border between Gaza and Egypt. And I'll just add here, though, that if you look at the plan a bit more carefully, of course, you'll see that this perimeter security buffer zone that the Israelis will hold on to, that too is supposed to disappear once it has been assured, once the implementers and the guarantors of the plan have ensured that Gaza is no longer a risk or poses a threat to Israeli security. So the perimeter buffer zone is meant to disappear as well, according to the plan.
Now, the plan also, as you mentioned, envisions an international stabilization force. Based on past experience, how realistic is that? And which actors could credibly participate and under what mandate?
This could be the real Achilles heel of the whole thing. We have this announcement that an international stabilization force will deploy in Gaza. We have no idea who that will be. We could guess maybe it's some of the participants. It's not clear whether this would come under some sort of U.S. guarantee or mandate, or would the U.S. take this to the United Nations and get a UN mandate, some sort of peace monitoring or even peacekeeping mission. And we don't know, the powers and responsibilities of the stabilization force. Does it have the right to physically block Israeli re-entry into zones that the Israeli army has withdrawn from? Does it have the right to a free airspace above itself so that Israeli drones and aircraft can't fly over? We don't want a repetition of the scenario of the ceasefire in Lebanon, where Israel finished the war with Hezbollah a year ago, but has been striking South Lebanon mostly and other parts of Lebanon, including the capital, almost daily since then. Claiming the right to unilateral action against Hezbollah targets rather than referring to the ceasefire committee headed by the United States for Lebanon. So this stabilization force in Gaza, I think, is a crucial element. We could at least have something like a token force of, say, 90 monitors deployed immediately on the ground at, say, 10 agreed locations along the new withdrawal line for the Israeli forces, which would at least be a token representative of the international body, and therefore, in a sense, be a deterrent to the Israeli government reneging on the deal and going back in by force.
Mr. Sayigh, let me ask you finally, if I can. I mean, you've represented Palestinians in peace talks with Israel in the past. Who do you think should represent Palestinians in the future? If this is a comprehensive deal, as the Americans are presenting it, who represents Palestinians?
Well, clearly, there already is a representative body inside the occupied territories, which is the Palestinian Authority. There's the Palestine Liberation Organization, which has been very weakened, but nonetheless still exists as the representative of all Palestinians everywhere, including in the big diaspora. But I think it's going to be crucial that as soon as war is over, that there be international support and a great deal of political capital invested in enabling general elections for the Palestinian parliament, for the presidency in all occupied territories. And as in the past, that has included the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Gaza Strip. If we are to create a credible leadership that has legitimacy to sign future peace deals with Israel and to undertake its full responsibilities under international law, then we do need an electoral process. But that has to come as a result of ending this horrific war in Gaza, ending the use of famine as a weapon of war, and establishing, a ceasefire based, of course, also on the release of all remaining hostages in Hamas's hands.
And all eyes on those crucial talks in Egypt on Monday. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Thank you for your insight. Yezid Sayigh, Senior Fellow at the Carnegie Middle East Center, joining us there from Princeton, New Jersey. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.